My name is Leela Carter. I'm 32 years old. And the moment my brother raised his glass at my mom's birthday dinner, I knew something ugly was about to go down. You ever feel that shift in the air? Like everything looks normal, but it ain't? Yeah, that. We were all sitting around this long table at a rented lakeside house. String lights glowing, wine flowing, everybody playing happy family for Instagram. My mom was laughing too loud. My aunt kept refilling her drink like she was trying to drown something. And my brother, Ethan, had that smile. That fake, polished, I'm about to ruin somebody's night smile. He tapped his glass. Hey, listen up, he said. Everyone quieted down. He stood up, straightened his jacket like he was about to give a speech at some corporate gala, and then he looked straight at me. To my sister Leela, he said, the one who somehow always struggles but still manages to show up expecting applause. A couple people laughed. Not because it was funny, because they didn't want to be the only ones not laughing. My chest tightened, but I didn't look away. I just picked up my glass, stood up slow, and met his eyes. Then let's toast you too, I said. The room shifted instantly. To the man who borrows money like it's his full-time job, lies about it like it's a hobby, and still walks around like he's self-made. Silence. I mean, dead, heavy silence. You could hear the lake outside. Ethan's smile cracked. Just a little, but enough. My mom froze mid-sip. My dad looked down like his plate suddenly got real interesting. And for the first time in a long time, my brother looked nervous. Now, before I tell you what happened next, I gotta ask you something. Where are you watching this from right now? Drop it in the comments. City, country, time zone? I want to see how far this story travels, because trust me, it's about to get messy. Ethan let out this short laugh, the kind people do when they're trying to pretend they're not bothered. Wow, he said, shaking his head. So we're really doing this tonight? I shrugged. You started it. My mom leaned forward immediately. Leela, honey, not here, not in front of everyone. See, that was always the rule. Not don't be cruel, just don't be exposed. Ethan rolled his shoulders like he was bored. I was joking, he said. You always get so sensitive. Sensitive. That word hit me like it always did, like I was the problem for reacting, not him for disrespecting. So I stepped closer to the table. Okay, I said, let's talk about jokes. I pulled my phone out. You borrowed $4,200 last year when your business almost took off. His jaw tightened. You borrowed another $1,300 in March when your card got declined at that steakhouse you wanted to impress your friends at. People started shifting in their seats. And let's not forget July, I added. $2,000 because your rent was overdue and you didn't want your girlfriend to find out. Now people weren't just uncomfortable, they were invested. Ethan's face changed. Not fully, but enough. You didn't have to say all that, he snapped. I tilted my head. You didn't have to stand up and call me a failure in front of everybody. That landed. Hard. My cousin muttered, damn, under his breath. My aunt suddenly got very quiet. My dad finally looked up but didn't say anything. Ethan crossed his arms. So what, you want a trophy because you helped me a few times? No, I said calmly. I wanted respect. That word hung in the air. Respect. Simple. Basic. Apparently rare. He scoffed. You think you're better than everyone just because you save money and live like you're 65? I smiled. I live within my means. You live in denial. A couple people choked back laughs. Ethan heard it, and that's when his tone changed. You're just mad because your life didn't turn out how you wanted. Oh, there it was. He went low, so I went lower. You mean like when I left my fiancé after he tried to put debt in my name? Or like when I rebuilt everything from scratch while you were busy posting fake success online? His girlfriend blinked. Wait, what? She said softly. Ethan shot her a look. Don't, but it was too late. The cracks were showing, and once they start, you can't unsee them. I reached into my bag and pulled out a folded envelope. Not dramatic, not loud, just steady. I don't trust memories anymore. I laid the papers on the table. Bank transfers, screenshots, notes, proof, dates, amounts, messages, everything. My mom gasped quietly. My dad leaned forward. Ethan stared at the papers like they were written in fire. You kept records? He asked. I nodded. You taught me to. That shut him up. Because it was true. Every time he twisted a story, every time he made me look like the problem, I learned, and I adapted. His girlfriend picked up one of the pages. Ethan, she whispered. He didn't answer, didn't even look at her. You told me she was always asking you for money, she said. Boom. That was the moment. Not loud, not explosive, but irreversible. Ethan swallowed. That's not yes or no, I cut in. He didn't answer, because he couldn't. People started pulling back, not dramatically, just enough. That subtle shift where someone realizes they've been standing next to the wrong person. My mom stopped talking, my dad stopped pretending, and Ethan? He was still in the center of the table, but suddenly alone. I gathered the papers. Calm. Controlled. Done. Here's what's going to happen, I said. I'm not lending you another dollar. His head snapped up. You're kidding. I'm not. You'd cut me off like that? I looked him dead in the eye. I'd stop funding my own disrespect. Silence again. Heavy this time. Real. And that's when I realized something. This wasn't just a fight. This was an ending. Not of a relationship, but of a role. The fixer. The quiet one. The one who absorbs everything. Yeah, that version of me, she didn't survive that night. People started leaving early. No one said it out loud, but everybody knew. Something broke, and it wasn't getting fixed with dessert. Later, I stood outside by the water, just breathing, trying to process everything. My friend Kayla came up beside me. You didn't know it was like that, she said. I nodded. Most people don't. She looked at me. You're not the problem, you know. I laughed softly. Funny how long it takes to believe that. Behind us, through the window, I could see my family inside, talking, tense, different. For once, they weren't ignoring it. And that was just the beginning. Because what happened after that dinner, what my brother did next, what my parents finally admitted, and the truth I uncovered that changed everything? Yeah, that part, that's where it gets real. I didn't go back inside right away. I stayed by the lake, letting the cold air hit my face, trying to calm down the storm in my chest. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Standing up for yourself doesn't feel powerful in the moment. It feels shaky. It feels lonely. It feels like you just set fire to something you can't rebuild. Kayla had already left. The cars were thinning out. Laughter had died down into awkward, low conversations. And inside that house, my family was finally dealing with reality. I walked back in about 20 minutes later. The energy? Different. Quiet, but not peaceful. More like aftershock. My dad was sitting at the table, hands clasped together like he was trying to hold something from falling apart. My mom was wiping her eyes, and Ethan, he was pacing, back and forth, like a man trying to outwalk the truth. He stopped the second he saw me. "Oh, so now you're coming back in?" he said. Same tone, same attitude, but weaker. I didn't respond. I just sat down across from my parents. My dad looked at me first. "How long?" he asked. I knew what he meant. "How long has he been borrowing money?" I said. He nodded. 4 years, I said, give or take. My mom let out a soft, broken sound. "Why didn't you tell us?" she asked. I looked at her. "I did," I said calmly, "just not in ways you wanted to hear." That hit, because it was true. I told them I was tired. I told them Ethan crossed lines. I told them things didn't feel fair. But every time, I got the same response. "He's just going through something. You're stronger. Don't make it a big deal." So eventually, I stopped talking and started documenting. Kayla let out a sharp laugh. "You're really playing victim right now?" he said. "After you just humiliated me in front of everyone?" I turned my head slowly and looked at him. "You humiliated yourself," I said. "I just stopped covering it." That shut him up. For about 2 seconds. "You think you're perfect?" he snapped. "You think you've never needed help?" "Oh, I have. The difference is, I don't bite the hand that helps me." My dad exhaled hard. "Enough," he said. And this time, it wasn't aimed at me. It was aimed at him. Ethan blinked, like he didn't recognize that version of our father. "Sit down," my dad said. Ethan hesitated. Then slowly, he sat. My mom looked at him, really looked this time. "Is it true?" she asked. Ethan rolled his eyes. "It's not like that." "Is it true?" Silence. That silence told the whole story. My mom covered her mouth. "Oh my God." My dad leaned back in his chair, staring at the ceiling like he was replaying every moment he missed. "How much?" he asked quietly. I answered. "Just over $7,500. My mom's head snapped toward me. "That much?" I nodded. Ethan muttered, "I was going to pay it back." "When?" I asked. No answer. Of course. Then something happened I didn't expect. My dad stood up, walked over to Ethan, and said, "You're paying her back." Ethan looked up, stunned. "You're serious?" "Yes." "You're really gonna take her side?" His voice didn't raise, but it got colder. "This isn't about sides. This is about right and wrong." That sentence, I had waited my whole life to hear that. Not because I needed him to defend me, but because I needed him to finally see clearly. Ethan shook his head, laughing like this was all ridiculous. "You're acting like I committed a crime." "No, you just made a habit of disrespect." He pointed at me. "You're loving this, aren't you?" I shook my head slowly. "No," I said. "I hate that it took this much for people to believe me." That landed harder than anything else I'd said, because it wasn't angry, it was honest. Then his girlfriend, Maya, spoke up. Quiet, careful. "Ethan, why didn't you tell me?" she asked. He didn't even look at her. "It wasn't a big deal." $7,000 isn't a big deal, she said. He snapped. It's handled. By who? She asked. Silence. Again. She nodded slowly, like something inside her just clicked. I need some air, she said, and walked out. Ethan watched her go, and for the first time that night, he looked scared. Because losing money, that never scared him. Losing image, that did. The room went quiet again, but this time nobody rushed to fix it. Nobody smoothed it over. Nobody told me to be the bigger person. And that was new. My mom wiped her tears and looked at me. What do you need? She asked. That question, man, that question changed everything, because it wasn't about keeping peace anymore. It was about truth. I took a breath. Stop asking me to fix him, I said. They listened, really listened. Stop expecting me to stay quiet when I'm disrespected, I continued. My dad nodded slowly. And if he crosses a line again, I said, looking straight at them, I want you to say something in the moment, not later. My mom whispered, okay. My dad said, that's fair. No, I corrected gently. It's necessary. Ethan scoffed. So now there's rules? No, I said. There's boundaries. He shook his head, standing up again. This is crazy. No, my dad said again. What's crazy is how long we let it go. Ethan froze. That one hurt him. I could see it. Because for once, he didn't have backup. He grabbed his jacket. I'm not staying here for this, he muttered. Running doesn't change anything, I said. He paused, just for a second, then walked out anyway. Door slammed. Gone. And just like that, it was over. Not the situation, but the illusion. I sat there with my parents in that quiet house. No music, no laughter, no pretending. Just truth. My mom reached for my hand again. This time, I let her. I'm sorry, she said. And this time, I believed her. Because it wasn't defensive, it wasn't rushed. It was real. 6 weeks later, everything looked different. Ethan moved out of his apartment, couldn't afford it anymore. Started making payments, small ones but consistent. Not because he suddenly became a good person, but because the safety net was gone. Maya, she didn't come back, and honestly, I don't blame her. My parents changed too. Not overnight, but enough. They started calling things out, started listening more, started seeing me differently. Not as the strong one, but as someone who deserved fairness. And me? I changed the most. I stopped over-explaining, stopped over-giving, stopped shrinking to keep the peace, because I finally understood something that took me years to learn. You don't lose people when you set boundaries. You lose the version of them that benefited from you having none. Last week, Ethan texted me. I'm sorry, it said. No excuses, no blaming, just that. I stared at it for a long time. Then I replied, I hope you mean that. Because forgiveness, it ain't instant, it's earned. So yeah, that night by the lake, it didn't destroy my family. It exposed it. And sometimes that's the only way anything real gets built. If you made it this far, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been the one who always keeps the peace? Ever felt like the more you give, the less you're valued? Drop your story below, because trust me, you're not the only one, and you're definitely not crazy.